All this time, Harry is believing that Peter is his enemy. How dare you kill my father? If it weren't for you, I would still have my father, type thing. So misunderstanding. So it made him, it's put a strain on him and Peter Parker's relationship. Then Harry, as a result, is trying to steal Peter Parker's girlfriend. So it was a whole lot of drama, just emotions coming to a head. Everybody's misunderstanding one another, miscommunication, feeling some type of way about what the other one said, what the other one did, not knowing the true backstory. So we got to be careful when we jump to conclusions based on what we think is going on with somebody. We don't always know what's going on with people behind the scenes as well as internally. When somebody is really showing you love, you can feel the difference. Love can be felt. It can be felt, it can be seen, and it can be perceived. So that's what makes it tangible. Even though it can be something that's not an animate object, it can be something that you're not really holding in your hands. You can't even really explain it. It's not something that you can carry and say, this thing that I'm holding in my hand is love. But yet you can still feel it. Yet you can still be touched by it. And that's what makes it also intangible. Because you can't hold it in your hand, but you can hold it in your heart. You can't carry it, but it can carry you. It can carry you through. We get too loose with this thing about the grace of God that we can it's almost like we just feel like we can just sin and everything we do is okay. It's all right because God's going to cover it. His grace is going to cover it. When the word says, shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? God forbid. He forbids that we continue doing sinful things that we know are contrary to him. So we can't chalk it up to our personality. My mood today. Oh, I just don't like them, so I just treat them any kind of way. Oh, I'm having a bad day, so I'm going to just lash out at everybody and it's all right because the grace of God covers me. Oh, I'm going to go out here and keep doing evil tonight, but I'm going to come back on Sunday and I'm going to give God praise because he's been good and his grace covers everything. So I can just keep doing this back and forth behavior, but it's all right because God got me. That's not, we should not, first of all, that sends a wrong message to people who are looking at you. That says, okay, what's different about you? What separates you from the world? What makes you different? When you're serving, do it as unto the Lord, because that's really what you're doing it to. And God is making it plain right here. That's exactly what you're doing. And it's like God is trying to get us to see, if we love him, we have to love him by loving others. And so I know sometimes we get tired. We spend a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of resources to do these types of things for people. But God sees it. It's a seed sown. You're planting seeds and God is paying attention. He's paying attention to how we walk, how we talk, how we move in this life. Probably have a lot of good memories that really make you smile and, really bring joy to your heart. Like, ooh, I remember those days. Those were some great days. I really remember fun times and good times with family and friends, whatever. And then if you think back, way back, you also probably have at least one memory, a painful memory or something that someone said that was sad or mean or hurtful, or something your parent did or didn't do that was hurtful. And so long after that thing has been said and long after you've moved on from it, every now and again, something may trigger that memory. The memory of what was said or did may come back up to the surface. And you're probably like, well, where in the world did that come from? That happened years ago. Why is that still coming up? Not like it's a stronghold or anything, but every now and again you might you might remember it, the trigger of it. And so some things, sometimes it's because you haven't dealt with it, and so it tries to come back into your present life. And then sometimes it's you have dealt with it and it's long gone. Like it doesn't sting you like it did before, but it's still it's something that you remember. And so if you've done any kind of work with a therapist or if you prayed about it, or you've gotten some kind of spiritual healing from things from your past or things like that, then it probably doesn't have the same effect that it used to. But it just goes to show you that we got to be careful what we say, what we do. If you don't have something good to say, try not to say anything at all. That's an old school saying that I'm sure you've heard over the years. Maybe your parents said, your grandparents said, somebody told you that at some point in your lifetime. If a person is naturally loving and they're flowing in the Spirit of God, and you see the evidence of the love of God in their life, and it's like, oh, they truly do know God. I can see the Spirit of God all up and through their life. You know, I don't care how anointed people may seem, or how talented they may seem, or how strong and powerful they may seem, and how beautiful they may look on the outside, and all those types of things. It's like, if love is not present, if love is not evident, it's like, who you fooling? It's like God can see. It's like the discernment, the Holy Spirit, the discernment of the Holy Spirit kicks in, and you're like, okay, you might be saying this, but it's like, where is the love? Where is the love? So that's why it's like this book of mine and the scriptures in general, it's like it leads you to do a perpetual check of yourself. Like, not like you being critical, just going around with a measure stick, slapping everybody over the head saying, no, you just hating today. Oh, you don't have no love. You're a horrible person. No, it's not like that. It's like something to just make you say, wait a minute. You know what? I'm not operating like I should today. It's something to get you back in line. If you step out of line, if you go too far to the left or too far to the right, you find yourself stepping on toes too much. Like this week, you just been in a nasty mood, and you're just not expressing love like you should. You're just not feeling the flow of the Spirit like you should. Then you're like, okay, maybe I need to check myself. I need to go back in that word. I need to spend more time with God. I need to pray today. I need to pray more often. I need to increase my prayer time with God and my quiet, intimate time with God. I need to get back in His Word and to study this Word. And then I need to put what I'm reading in action. Hearers and doers of the Word. Hearers and doers of the Word. You don't have to literally die, but being willing to sacrifice something, give up something, or do a little extra than you normally would. Sacrifice your time, sacrifice something, your money, whatever it is that you can do to give back to humanity for the sake of love, for the sake of God, for a great cause that's going to make this world a better place. So that's what this podcast, once again, that's what this podcast is all about. I'm trying to highlight some great African Americans who did just that. We are still reaping the benefits of their efforts. If not for them, we wouldn't be able to vote. We wouldn't have a voice in society. We wouldn't be able to go to schools at any school in the world. As long as we do work hard, we can do anything in this world. Him through the eyes of those who knew Him. No matter where you are in your journey with Jesus Christ, this TV show is for you. Watching this series was like a flashback into my book Love Check, because there's a whole chapter in there devoted to the character of Jesus, understanding who He is, what He does, and using Him as a blueprint, recognizing Him as the blueprint for our lives as believers. So as you're watching this series on The Chosen, all of that stuff is coming to life and coming to play on your television screen, on the big screen. So it's amazing to watch. It's like Love Check in full color. So of course I loved it. Final thing of note is the part that He kept saying to Peter, because like He said, Peter was the chosen one. He called Peter the rock, His rock that He was going to build His church upon, and the gates of hell would not prevail against it. That's why He kept asking Peter, do you love me more than these? How much do you love me? He wanted to test His love. So that's what He wants. He's saying that to us today. How much do you love me? How much do you love me? Are you willing to feed my sheep? Are you willing to feed my people? Are you willing to tell others about me? Are you willing to spread the word, spread the gospel about who I am and my message to the world? Are you willing to share and spread the love of God wherever you go to as many people as you can? He's saying, prove it then. I've proven to you who I am. I told you what I was going to do and I did it. The Bible is full of scriptures that tell us who God says that we are. I have made some t-shirts a few years back that says, it's called I am who God says I am, because I am who God says I am. You know, understand who God calls you. He calls you accepted. He calls you beloved. He calls you chosen, worthy, a peculiar people, a royal priesthood, the head and not the tail, above and not beneath, loved, fearfully and wonderfully made. All of these wonderful things. That's what God says about you. So no need to covet, no need to envy. And if you're going through a hard patch of life right now, any kinds of trials and tribulations, whether you're sick, you're going through, depressed, whatever is going through in your life, or you're just struggling in your faith, whatever you might be feeling, or someone that you know might be experiencing, this too shall pass. You'll get through that too, with God's help.